original premise behind the pedal was a realization years ago that I never used a delay without a reverb, and vice versa. Whenever I had a reverb on my pedal board, it would never be used without the accompaniment of a delay, and vice versa. So when I started to hear what Seymour Duncan was doing with their pedals, namely the Silver Lake and the Andromeda, especially the Silver Lake, when they sent me a prototype for that, I was blown away at how good the reverb sounded, how genuinely good, just all the different types of reverbs they had on the pedal. You know, I had an idea. I was like, what if I approached them and see if they wanted to do some kind of delay reverb combo, and see if we could not eliminate, but I guess streamline some of the features from both pedals, put them in one box, and then add on some features and incorporate some routing options that are really cool. And I don't know if they've been done with other pedals. I don't want to say they haven't been done, but that's because of my ignorance, but just in case they have. In my experience, I haven't seen them done in such a sort of intuitive way. So yeah, it's a digital delay reverb pedal. And it's just, from the very beginning, once they sent me one, as a prototype, it became sort of my ultimate idea generator. Like, I'd plug into it and I'd immediately start writing. That, I feel like, is the most powerful thing a piece of gear can do to you. And so I guess I'll start with some of the things that set it apart in the biggest way. I go delay into reverb. I started to meet players who did the exact opposite. They go reverb into delay. And we thought to ourselves, me and some of the engineers at Seymour Duncan, what if we incorporated a feature that allowed you to go reverb into delay? So switch up the routing. And I didn't know that could be done easily, but they managed to incorporate it into this top right knob here. So delay into reverb, switch it over to reverb into delay. And we also added some interesting routing features here where you can assign, if you're running in stereo, you can assign your delay to the left side and your reverb to the right side, and vice versa. Reverb to your left side and then delay to your right. So there's some really cool routing options. As far as the way the reverb works at the top of this pedal, you can control the mix, the amount of reverb you want in the signal. There's a delay mix, so those are your two mix controls. The reverb functions off of a room size control. The reverb actually takes on a different character when you switch up the room sizes. And it all is just really pleasing to the ears. One of the things I noticed is that even if you're running a sort of subtle kind of toned down reverb, it just sounds super tasteful out of the box. And that was one of the things we wanted to nail, because if you look at this pedal, it takes on the appearance of something that's pretty feature intensive. There's a lot going on aesthetically, and some people tend to get sort of blown away at the amount of knobs on something like this. But it really is pretty simple once you look at it. It's going to sound good as soon as you plug it in, but with the amount of sort of tweaking and fiddling you can do, there's just a lot going on. You can set, there's a tap tempo button. You could set it to a BPM. One of the things I like to do is if I'm writing with periphery in the studio and we're sort of going through the spice racking process where we finish the bread and butter of a song and it's time to go back over that song and sort of apply these like washed out, just saturated reverb delay tones, is you actually, you set the tempo to match the songs you're writing to, so everything kind of lines up neatly. And that sort of allows this to happen. Right here, we also have a low pass filter, high pass filter, and a saturation knob. The saturation knob, I found, is super helpful in getting a delay reverb tone, just a saturated tone, to pop out in a metal mix. And that's a problem. That's actually one of the biggest issues I've had with even some of my favorite reverb and delay pedals, is that once you start mixing a tone like that in a metal context, is you kind of get overwhelmed a lot of the time. You're not poking out of the mix enough, so the character gets lost. Sometimes you don't even hear yourself. With that addresses that full on. So, and yeah, I mean, it's got sort of your standard delay section here. I can't say enough amazing things about it, really. It's really been a game changer the way I approach writing and approach my time in the studio. For the delay modes here, we have on the right side here, we have some reverse options. We have a ping pong, reverse ping pong, a straight up reverse, and a pattern delay, which quarter note dotted eighth. It's a pretty trippy effect, and I found that that's actually one of my favorites on the device. So this tweak knob serves as a control for all 6 of these parameters here. And the way it works is if you want to control the depth, well, it's already pre-selected on here, depth. That's how you control it. And you can switch on to your rate. Control it that way. So it's sort of, this knob is assigned to all 6 of these controls depending on which one of these are selected. And then your blend, which I think is pretty cool. If this blend knob can make it so the effects are being applied to your delay and reverb equally, but you can bend it in one way or the other. So now it's being applied more so to delay. And if you have it up this high, it's being applied only to the delay. And you can do it vice versa too. So the effects are being applied only to the reverb. You can get really nerdy with this stuff, and that's the kind of thing I like. So as with the Silver Lake and the Andromeda, we've incorporated the dynamic expression knob here. So this means the higher you set the threshold, the lower the mix is going to get, the harder you pick. So it kind of functions the same exact way as both of those 2 pedals. So the price for the Dark Sun is $369, I believe, and they begin shipping in late March. This is Mark. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really, really excited about the pedal, and I can't wait to hear what you guys all think of it. And I can't wait to hear what you create with it. That's the most important thing. So if you get the pedal, or if you get a chance to test it out, write some damn music with it, because that's what all this stuff is for. So write something cool. I want to hear it.